Good morning, good morning. Hello, good morning. Selena's microphone's about to
Yeah.
fall. Um, Hi, hello. Welcome once again to.
Help. Just like, yeah. Alright, it was turned all the way sideways for some reason.
Oh.
No, either. I didn't do it.
It-
Okay,
it's,
that works.
It's dying. Good morning, good morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome once again to Dork Duck Daily, the show with all the news you
Everybody
nerd.
yell at Jeff right now because I think Jeff should be spending time going to the dentist.
I will be calling around to
better.
find something after this program. It's Vince says, Jeff,
I just worry that the more you put it off, the more it's gonna
I
not
I
happen,
cannot
get worse.
I cannot put it off. Well, that's what I told you yesterday. I was
We were
like,
up all night long.
we were up all night?
We were, yeah, I was awake too.
Okay.
I was there. I talked to you. I remember waking up and being like, "What have you done so far to like?"
I know. I
remedy
was so
this?"
bad. I was like, talking hurts. I don't want to go through a laundry list of all the
Oh,
things.
talking hurts.
All the things I did.
Talking hurts, huh?
Yeah.
But we're on a morning talk show.
Yes.
Okay.
The gig. You do the gigs.
Yeah, I'm sorry if my tooth was in the position like when we're going through literally the exact same thing, only at different points in time. When I had my tooth thing, McDonald's was like this close to probably firing me because I was like, I can come in, I'm just not gonna talk or say anything. They were like, but we love to put you in the back where you have to talk to people, and I'm
Yeah.
like, too fucking bad. Like, put me on food running or something. Like, I can't talk. I'm missing like half my molar, and my entire side of my face was just like on fire. Like, I probably had like a fever. It was bad. And
Vince says, Lena, this is typical dude behavior. We're dumb, but it's how we're trained on average. Yeah,
well, I don't know how to untrain that.
It's also fun. It's 2 hours this morning that I can get through, and it's like honestly, like the pain's a lot, but it is whatever. It's like when there's something like this where my brain is engaged, it is not as bad as it's like, hey, you need to be quiet and sleep now, and then it's like, at that point, there is nothing but the pain.
No, I get it because that was when it was the hardest was trying to sleep. Like, that was when it was really funny. I was dating my ex, and we were poly, so we also had another partner, and she would bring over her dogs.
Mhm.
And so it would be me, her dogs, and then my ex would go to work because he worked third shift.
Mhm.
And so this girl would literally bring both of her dogs over, who were like beautiful, beautiful corgis, but they were so fucking crazy. Like, they would hear ever so slightly the like a car passing or like a raindrop hitting a leaf, and they just start like going off. Yeah. And we were in an apartment too, but the apartment part matters less than that. I was just trying to sleep and like die, and these dogs were just like screaming, and I was just like, dude, I love you and I love your dogs, but like my tooth is literally rotting out of my head. Please, if you come over, maybe don't bring your dogs. Like, I love them. I just need to sleep. And then finally, eventually, they ended up calming down after a night, and then the whole next day I just like slept in bed with the dogs. Like, we just laid in bed all day.
Yeah.
So that part was nice. But the dying at night and not being able to sleep because of dogs barking, and also just tooth pain in general.
Vince says he'll push through the show, then get care. Right, Jeff.
He's probably gonna make an appointment, accept the like month out or something, and then do the other show later today, which is not my recommendation. I would go into like, well, no, because I don't think that we have like emergency dental care places around here. I think we just have like appointment only ones.
Yeah. The other thing is I have no money or dental insurance, so it's like I'm gonna have to call through the like little county one and just be like, hey, I need to see somebody, and it's gonna have to be on a like from the get go of like their one of those like, hey, all right, you have no money, so here's what we can do. And we have in our county, we have one of those that is not as good as some of the other counties. Looking at the spread though, if it was like, I wish I would have been more aware of this, because there are places in the state that you can go and get like dental maintenance stuff, like the twice a year stuff, for like $30 out of pocket. You just have to drive to them.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have done that over the last handful of years when I was just like, I don't know, I don't have dental insurance.
I don't like going to the dentist. Because even when I do take care of my teeth, they still yell at me. And like, I never understood that. Like, I know it's their job to be like, take care of your teeth, but like, they would get like so shamey about it that like, I would just be like, okay, I'm not coming back here unless I absolutely have to then. Like, so no cleanings, no like cavity filling. Like, unless my tooth was literally rotting out of my head and I had to get it pulled, I just avoided the dentist.
Oh, I would take them yelling at me. I
can't take them yelling at me.
The one I was going to, well, I had insurance before like my divorce was finalized, and I went to I basically, as I was getting divorced, I went and got a whole bunch of dental care done, got a whole bunch of medical care done, because I knew I was losing insurance 5 years ago. And that dentist, which I had gone to and my kids had gone to at the time, like I hated, because not because they'd be shamey, but because they would be salesy. Like, you'd be sitting there like getting cleaning, and it's like that thing, they like put a TV on with Property Brothers or something, and you're just sitting there like, Property Brothers is on, and you're just like, oh, okay. And they always ask you questions, and you're like, sell comic books, huh? What's that? So, as they're like sitting there like cleaning or whatever. But then they would like always like come out and be like, well, if you're interested, we also have the Toothbrush Master 5000.
I think they're just supposed to do that.
Right. They would get real salesy on like trying to do like little add-ons and stuff in the middle of, and I was like, no, why? I'm not buying your $300 toothbrush. Also, why are you selling me a $300 toothbrush in the middle of this medical procedure?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this capitalistic nightmare?
My favorite memory of being at the dentist or orthodontist is when my grandma tried to tell the orthodontist how to brush teeth.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like she was like, well, I told her you go, I forget the technique that she like swore by. And to be fair, my grandma has
down the street, not across the road, or is that a different thing?
My grandma has really good teeth, like really good teeth. Like her teeth are like immaculate. It's kind of scary. Just because I know how obsessive that woman is, and she probably wakes up at like 8 a.m. on the dot, brushes her teeth, sets another alarm to brush her teeth again in the middle of the day or something. But like, she told me a specific way to brush my teeth, and then we went to the orthodontist because I wasn't taking care of my braces super well. Surprise, surprise. I don't think any teenager does, and especially me. And she was like, yeah, I told her to do this. And the orthodontist is like, well, actually, we've been telling her to do a different way because that's the more effective way to do it. And the way that you told her to do is actually like, we figured out that's not as effective like years ago. And my grandma was like, oh, are you sure? Because like,
I disagree.
And she's like, well, my teeth, like she even went out. She's like, I have very healthy teeth. And I was like, yeah, I know. I see that. But like, just trying to tell you what's the right way to do it.
Just trying to tell you what modern medicine, how they're approaching it. Yeah. But yeah, take care of your teeth. if for some reason I'm the ghost of Christmas future here, I've not had good insurance for like 5 years, and so I'm like starting to hit like the like, whoop, it's starting to catch up with me. There are, if you type into Google, just like, we live in Michigan, so like I was like, free dental Michigan, right? Type that into the Google thing, and you pull up a whole list of things of like free or discounted dental stuff. You will see, and there's a whole bunch of like, hey, you can walk in and do basic stuff for like $30-$50. They might be a little bit of a drive away, but I kind of wish I would have done that over the last handful of years. I'd probably be in a better shape right now. Where I'm at right now is I'm going to do this show, and then I'm going to call our local one and try to get something set up to get in there. And probably try to get an appointment for next week. Because I also have to perform stand-up Friday night. And so, like, if I can get this in a state where I can, like... right now, it feels manageable.
Why wouldn't you get it done before you do stand-up?
Because if I get it... it'd be one thing if I could get it done today. Kind of like getting a haircut.
Hey, Waffles.
You don't want to get a haircut right before you do a show or something? Because, like, if the haircut goes bad, you have bad hair for the show.
Oh, you're saying if you get your tooth pulled, it's good. I'm trying to remember. I had to change gauze out of my mouth every, like, 2 hours after I got my tooth pulled, so you might...
Be like, all right.
No, literally, like, I still was going to McDonald's to work. You give me crap for my work ethic these days, but like I had a pretty insane one back in the day. I'd go in with my freaking little packages of like gauze and tooth shit that I had to like Hi Waffles, like rinse out my mouth with. And then, oh my god, that churro is gone. It's dead. Okay? It's gone. It's empty. There's no more churro in it. No matter how much you...
She doesn't believe you.
She's starting to get a little booty again. Waffles is getting fat.
She's a big girl.
She is not a big girl. She could stand to be bigger. But I'm ready for fat Waffles era again. She was so tubby when she was little.
She's a baby, yeah.
And she would sit like a human, and so her little belly would hang like a little beer belly. Anyway, so stop, Waffles. God. No, don't take my headphones. Okay. I'd go into work though, and like every 2 hours I'd have to call somebody back to take my spot. And sometimes it wouldn't be every 2 hours, and I'd have to wait, and then I'd be sitting there with like blood running down my mouth practically, and be like, okay, I have to change out this gauze. It's completely filled with blood now, everybody. I shouldn't be talking over this. No one can understand me anyway because I have a huge ass ball of gauze in my mouth, but no, put me on the back, please.
I don't know that like phrasing it as like I give you crap about your work ethic is the correct phrasing so much as just it's like it's very different. And now that we work together, it's that like I got up this morning, I was like, I'm going to start setting up for the show, and you're like, we're still doing that?
I thought you were just going to get up and start working on fixing your tooth problem. After last night, that's really what I thought was going to go down. I was just surprised.
Why would you? See, that's where I'm.
Because if it were me, and I spent all night like in deep agonizing pain, yeah, I would probably be like, sorry, everybody, I have to.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I see that as an emergency.
Why would that be an emergency? Well, also, it's my own damn fault. I didn't take care of this problem. Like,
I'm sure I wasn't. I know, but like,
that's my mess in my yard that I gotta clean up. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
It shouldn't affect other people because.
I'm just saying, for my own personal experience, it didn't do me any favors to go into work and like run myself ragged. That so that I could just still get what I needed to get done. Like it probably took longer to heal because I was constantly having to like talk and pretend like I didn't have a massive hole in my mouth. I don't know. That's just me though.
I don't know. It is what it is. Vince's fault is irrelevant. It's a problem now. Yeah, sure. I just like it is definitely like I will get it sorted because I'm gonna have to. Problem is just like the regardless of the sliding scale, whatever. Too is like money is just not there. So it's like I have to get through making some money this week to set some aside to be able to pay for.
I think you can make the appointment and then pay later.
That's the plan. I'm gonna make it today, but like it's probably not gonna be today. But I'm gonna have to have like a week or two of making money to pay for this appointment, and then I'm gonna have to have a sliding scale and a payment plan or whatever. They're probably just gonna pull the tooth, I imagine. But
I'm trying to remember because I still had Medicaid when they pulled my tooth, but there's also like
that's just that Medicaid mostly pays for everything, but
my grandma, it was when I was like in my early 20s, so my grandma was still like, I'll help you here and there.
I don't
with your dental stuff.
I don't have Medicaid, so it's interesting because I started reading and then it was interesting to read like that even in a lot of countries that are further along with stuff than us that have free medical care, like in a lot of those countries dental is not included either. It's like, what the fuck? How did we let them do this? How did we let them bill dental as an entirely like different like
I don't know.
Like that is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life, and the fact that we're not alone in it makes me so much angrier. It's like, how in the world is dental a whole different like thing of medicine? Like it's still pieces of your body
Waffles
that like need medical help.
Waffles has good teeth.
Waffles has good teeth.
Yeah. I actually do want to start giving them the treats that brush their teeth.
Yeah, I think that's
Bug is missing a tooth. So I want to be sure to take extra good care of his teeth first, huh?
Vince says dental and vision care is classist, which is bullshit. Yeah, it's fucking insane. What? I don't know why and how we let them do that.
Your head smells like laundry soap.
Absurd.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Waffles is like, no.
But we don't just cover my dental woes on the show. We also cover all the news you nerd in a whole segment we like to call the Daily Quack. She's my baby.
Yeah.
Bloober Team's new horror label just unveiled an isometric survival horror game straight out of a comic book. Avoid the Hornmans at all costs. I Hate This Place adapts an Eisner-nominated comic book and is set to release later this year. This is from Justin Wagner over at PC Gamer. You might know Bloober Team for its Silent Hill 2 remake, which everyone was really scared would suck until it turned out to be pretty great. But the studio's penchant for polarizing horror goes back a long way these days. It's cooking up games under a horror-centric co-development label called Broken Mirror Games. The latest of which is a crafty, shooty, isometric survive 'em up called I Hate This Place. That comic book was originally called Fuck This Place, by the way. And they made him change the title.
I wonder why.
And
isn't there another book that's got the F word in it though that they are fine with?
Yes. This is Kyle Starks, who's one of my favorite all-time creators. He's the one that did that like Rick and Morty sketch for the
Oh, cool.
the store, and his comic I Hate This Place / Fuck This Place is like your typical cabin in the woods type horror, but it's just like everything happens all at once. It's kind of like the movie Cabin in the Woods if all the stuff underneath was just like already up on the surface.
Oh yeah.
It's
I want to rewatch that sometime.
I fucking love that movie. I will rewatch that at just about any time.
Right now.
Yeah, let's go watch Cabin in the. I fucking love Cabin in the Woods. But yeah, video game based on a comic book. I can get down with that.
Those monsters only exist in your head, they said. Great material for your art. I actually believed them. Until that night. Feels like I've walked straight into one of my nightmares.
Beware the Horned Man. This musical score fucking rules. Vince says that book has variants that still say "fuck this place." That they do. And it was the funniest thing back when I still had a staff at the comic shop trying to get people to shelve them all at the same place, and I never could. It was always like half of them would be in the F's and the other half would be in the T's, and I'd be like, guys, I don't care which you put it under, but either put them all in the T's or all in the F's. And they're like, but this one starts with T and this one starts with F. Like, they're the same book. They're the same book.
Wait, so there's a T, you mean an I?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
E.
It was, yeah, because either I hate this place or fuck this place.
Yeah.
The other book like that is Fuck Fairyland and I Hate Fairyland, which is also like the same thing. And people will like half the time it's in the F's and half the other time it's in the I's. And then you get like you can only get so mad about it because it's like the people alphabetizing things don't know.
Yeah.
But man, it would always drive me a little crazy. As protagonist Elena, players will craft survival tools and get into shootouts with all sorts of cryptid beasties, according to the press release, which calls it a world where everything wants you dead. It sounds like you'll need to watch the clock as well, with safe houses being the only refuge from whatever the hell comes out at the end of the game's day and night cycle. The release highlights with the warning, whatever you do, though, avoid the Horned Man at all costs. It's interesting. I fucking love Kyle Starks. Kyle Starks is might be my he's up there in my all-time favorite comic book creators.
Waffles.
This game looks good. It does not look very Kyle Starksy, which is like inherently his stuff is very like silly. And this is taking this game is very not silly. Like the silliness is kind of like not there. And that
beautiful.
Unless it's going to change a lot from the trailer to now. Maybe they're just like marketing it in a not silly way. I don't know, but that's the tone just doesn't seem very Starksian, for lack of a better word. But that said, I'm sure he got some money out of this, so like, and I like him, so like, I'm happy, and I hope this moves some books for him. Speaking of our absolute dystopian nightmare.
I'm so glad we're covering this.
DoorDash will soon offer more ways to buy a burrito via payment plan. This is from our friend Zach Sweezen at Kotaku.
Waffles. The freaking churro is gone. It's empty, my girl. It's empty. There is no more. There's no more.
Hello, GU. Good morning.
No more waffles. Oh, okay.
These days, it's very expensive and annoying to order food via popular delivery apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats. In fact, it's so pricey that DoorDash is teaming up with another company to offer its customers yet another way to pay for future burritos and burgers via multiple smaller payments. On March 20th, popular food delivery app DoorDash announced that it was partnering with Klarna, a company that grossly describes itself as an AI-powered payments and commerce network, to offer customers the option to split up food orders into interest-free payments. Users will also be able to defer payment until a later date that better aligns with their paycheck schedule. And of course, you can use Klarna to pay for orders in full, something you can already do in the DoorDash app without bringing in a separate third-party company. But it's nice to have choices, isn't it? Although perhaps not that nice when the company depends on people not being able to keep up with repayments in order to profit.
Oh my god. Well, okay. I gotta go throw away this churro because Waffles is on the warpath.
For the churro. GU says these days it's like a $20 plus more on top of the food order minimum. It's bad. Because it used to be like a nice like once in a while option of just like oh yeah, let's do this. It'll be more practical and we can spend money instead of time to get this done. And then now it's this just like complete nightmare of like we had a birthday on Saturday, and so the kids came with us to the shop so that they could get to, my ex put all the work and, like, I'm very, like, happy she killed it on Saturday, like, setting up all that birthday party stuff for my kid and making a very elaborate, Five Nights at Freddy's cake and like doing all this. That was like she was super mom on that, but we had to bring the kids with us to the shop so that they were like already there, so that they could like go straight from there and we would know they're ready, because that was my thing too. Is while my ex was doing all that work, and if I would have left the kids here, she would have showed up to pick them up last minute and been like, "Where are your shoes?
Yeah, why are you not wearing?" Like,
why are you not wearing pants?
Yeah, why are you wearing pajama pants that are 3 feet too long for you?
Right. And so we had the kids there, and it was like, and I've been very specifically not letting him in. You just let him in. He immediately came in and chewed stuff. Don't chew plastic.
Yeah.
But like we were sitting there like trying to figure it all out and trying to like manage, and like Selena had to run out for something. I was like, "Hey, haven't fed them. Can you run through McDonald's real quick?" And Selena was like, "I cannot eat McDonald's. Like, what if I do taco?" And it was like by the time we were doing it, we're like, "Okay, well, it would make a lot more sense to just DoorDash it all, because you're running here and they." And then when I looked, it was going to be like $70 by the time we got everything. And I was like, we are not spending $70 on Taco Bell. There's just no...
It was insanity. And then I literally tried to DoorDash fucking, like medicine and mouthwash, like medicated mouthwash last night when Jeff's tooth was bothering him. And, like, the things that I got were like $9. And then before tip, it's $22, and I'm like, yeah, I have like $18 on my account right now to my name, so that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. And I couldn't leave because I have windshield. I don't have windshield wipers on my car. That's another fun dystopian adventure. Everything is falling apart.
G says,
but at least I can DoorDash a burrito and pay for it in installments. Awesome.
G says, like, to be clear, not counting tip, never counting. Yeah, I wonder if they probably don't put the tip in. Maybe they put the tip in the Klarna. I have no idea. Jesus, the actual service adds like $20, usually sneakily. Grubhub has way better service, and I'd be fine with it. But they have a checkout number, and it's not the same one as when you hit enter, and it feels gross somehow. Like to add $20 to what you said would feel barely legal. The tip is shown in the amount before you hit enter. The Grubhub fee they add. That's gross. I don't like that. But that's what's truly dystopian about this is like there have definitely been situations where it's been like, ugh, this is not a good decision, but like this is the best decision for right now. And Klarna is going to be there to be like, like, well, like, do you not love your boyfriend enough to get that stuff that he needs right now for his tooth?
Yeah.
Like, you can put it on payments, and then you are.
And I would.
And then you're going to miss the payments, and then that's where they're going to make all their money is because it's...
Yeah.
That's...
It's also strangely targeted to people that, like, forget to make payments.
Because that's how they make their money.
Yep.
It's kind of ridiculous. This partnership empowers customers with maximum choice and control over how they pay, from groceries and the season's big-ticket electronics to home improvement supplies, beauty, and even the Dash Pass annual plan membership, explained DoorDash in a press release announcing the partnership. By offering smarter, more flexible payment solutions for groceries, takeout, and retail essentials, we're making convenience even more accessible for millions of Americans. This is the part of the blog where I was going to make a joke about how overpriced delivery apps have become, that people now have to use payment plans to afford using them, and how it's really depressing that we are entering an age where people are going to finance an order of chicken nuggets from Burger King. But actually, DoorDash has been letting people finance burrito deliveries since 2022. That was when the app partnered with Afterpay to let people order now and pay later when buying some burgers and sodas.
Before. It's not terrible. It's all terrible, but like I didn't notice any like interest or anything crazy like that, if that makes any sense.
None of them have interest, but they all make money, which is like why people should not use them, because it's like they're making money somewhere. But like they're counting on you to not make your payments, and then that's when they start making their money.
Oh, yeah, I always made my payments on Afterpay, but that was before that was like when I had everything
Cheeky.
very like down to a schedule and science, and my life is very out of control these days. So I don't think I would be able to do payment plans on things. I'm bad at remembering to do stuff.
You said, by the way, the dream for DoorDash is if the person complains, right, which I had to because someone wouldn't go up the stairs, dropped it off at the wrong door, and insulted my illness and mocked me. DoorDash didn't refund me. They still took that money. That's frustrating. They have been pretty good about refunding us in the times that we've done DoorDash deliveries at the shop, especially when it was cheaper. We do it a lot less these days. But there's definitely, I did a sandwich a week or two ago, and they brought me the completely wrong sandwich. And I will say, finding the spot where they refund you has gotten harder and harder.
Yeah.
It's like it's in a much deeper part of the menu now than it used to be. But I was able to get refunded for that. But they are pretty shady in that they're like, hey, we can refund you instantly as credit, or, if you want your money back, that might take a week or two. And then you're just like, well, I have credit at DoorDash, I should use it.
Yeah, and then you end up paying actual money because the credit doesn't always cover what you want, because that's what happened when I used your DoorDash to get food. Like, they gave you like $12 back for the sandwich, and I was like, my order is more than $12, so I spent more money anyway.
Yeah. She says, yeah, not well, LOL. That same here. Fighting stupid tooth stuff and like don't have insurance or money. Go get it fixed, but we're gonna have to go to anyways. Shiki said, I complained a few times over like missing food and wrong food and whatever, and now anytime I complain, they're like, you seem to have a lot of issues. Let us help you. And I'm like, okay, not my fault. These people don't check the bags. Good morning, Lingsy. Hello, or good afternoon, where you're at. Lingsy, can you confirm? Because I was reading stuff last night, going through dental issues. In the UK, is dental stuff not covered under the health stuff where everything's covered and taken care of? Do you have to pay out of pocket for dental? I was reading that last night and I was wildly confused. Do you have to still get like dental insurance and stuff, or is that covered under like your basic health stuff in the UK? I'm curious. Shiki says, no, I didn't. They were like, have $5. And I was like, it was $25? You said it was in text too, like with receipts. I live in the trashiest city in Florida. You read that right. Pray for me. I'm so sorry. Lindsay says part funded by the state. Okay. How did we let them do this? How did we let them decide that like dental work is entirely separate, like brand of medicine? It is the fucking stupidest and most insane thing. Like, you either need it or you don't, and if you need it, it should be wrapped up in all other medical stuff. Shiki says, I'm not Lingsy, but from the conversation I've had with Stu, dental is not free, but it's cheaper. Lingsy says, if I need dental work, it costs me around £50 as opposed to $400, $500 if using a private dentist. Stu says infections are only fatal like 90% of the time, Jeff. Come on. Right? What the fuck is this dystopia? There's so much more of us than them. How did we let them do this? Okay. Lindsay says we have emergency free dental care. This will involve just pulling out a tooth, etc., and that is free. Okay. I mean, I would go.
That would be then that would fix Jeff's problem. He just needs to get a tooth pulled.
Sam says Jeff repeatedly asking, how did we let them do this to us as the world is slipping backwards into chaos? Yeah, I did. Jesus, Jeff, my year visit for February didn't tell me I likely have a kidney infection. Lindsay says, so if you're poor, you will still get some dental assistance for free. She says, we live in a dystopia. Yeah. Vicky said, I wish we had that here. Like, yeah, I could really use that right now. Because this thing likely needs to be pulled.
Is there a way for you to like add the dental thing to your insurance plan? Or would it not go until the next month?
I could have added it during open enrollment, like back in.
I thought you could add it whenever.
I don't think so. I think
what?
I think it has to be during open enrollment.
That's what you told me.
No, I'm in excruciating amounts of pain currently, like to the point that I'm just like, what if I just pulled this thing out myself? And I know that's not.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. There's a whole ass root in there.
I was fantasizing about that scene in Castaway last night with just the rock and the ice skate.
Oh my god. I'm not letting you do that yourself.
It's a lot. But this is also like Sam says I've been there. Yeah. This is also where Sam and I say like our biggest fear is just dying from appendicitis, because it's like my pain tolerance is pretty high.
Yeah.
Like at the point that I'm like, hey, I'm in a lot of pain, is probably most people's like,
I know, because last night you were actually making it clear you were in pain. You're like a cat. And so I knew something was wrong. And so I was just like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, I have to do something in the morning to get him to go in somewhere, because otherwise this isn't going to go well. And I'm like panicking. So it's probably why this morning when you were like, good morning. It's almost time for the morning show. I was like, we're not doing this morning. You're getting it fucking figured out. I know you. And I know that if you show that you're in physical pain, that it's bad. Like, I also now have taken over somehow the role of, like, sometimes it's cute because Jeff kind of parents me occasionally and, like, will, like, remind me to do things and, like, help me with tasks. I have somehow now, it's switched up to where I'm like, did you remember to brush your teeth today? How about that mouthwash? Did you use your medicated mouthwash? We'll get you a floss, but, like, it's just, I have to do the reminding thing, and I don't mind doing it. I'm just so bad at it.
Yeah.
Because I can't remind myself to do these things.
GU says George Washington lost his teeth, Jeff. If it was good enough for our founding fathers, it was good enough for us.
Isn't that the one with wooden teeth?
Don't check how he died. Not important. Yes.
Are you gonna get a wooden tooth?
I think I look good with wooden teeth.
Yeah.
Lindsay says, Shiki, you laugh, but we have a big problem with people coming from mainland Europe to get free health care. I'm about to be driving north. Canada's pretty close. I don't know why I pointed up like that was north.
It is. We're gonna ascend into the sky. We're done. We're done living down here.
Shiki says he yanks out his tooth, exposing nerves, smashing the tooth in front of it and hitting his head. But the tooth is out. Yeah. Sam said, word advice, if I can, cut back on sugar / soda / too much coffee. I've been managing a tooth that's needed to be extracted for a year. Yeah, it's
I don't know that there's sugars in anything that Jeff drinks, but I was thinking about that too. Like, don't drink. Does Celsius have sugar in it? I mean, there's 0 calories. They must have some form of sweetener.
Probably, yeah. Shiki says, no, mouth infections are cute. Yeah. That's how I'm going to get all the girls. I don't need all the girls. I got the best one. Sorry, I'm tired. No, you're fine.
We're all tired.
We're all
We
tired.
could have a little loopy lack of sleep party. Those are my favorite kind of, like, where everybody that's hanging out is just like the complete lack of sleep and it's just like chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I woke up last night when the pain meds wore off. Like, it was like to the minute of, like, it was in the cycle every 4 hours, right? And I woke up with the pain meds wore off and I was just like, I was in pain, but, like, my dream logic was such that, like, we were working on something together and it was like you weren't
Wasn't pulling my own weight.
It was something to do with names, and I was like, you have to put these names in the spreadsheet, and then you have to say them. And I was like, and I woke up, and I was like, you're not saying the names. And you were like, what? And I was like, it's my tooth. And then you're like, what have you done? And I was like, trying to explain.
What have you done? Did I say it like that?
Yeah, you're like, what have you done so far for your tooth?
I thought,
And it was
what
like-
have you done? Like,
And it was like, I had to wake up enough to realize that, like, I had to just get up and take a new round of pain meds.
Yeah.
But, like,
but you tried to blame it on me.
in my dream, you weren't saying the names in the
That's
spreadsheet.
So funny.
You
Oh
had
my
to say
God.
the names
and
in the
and that would
spreadsheet.
make the tooth pain go away.
Yes.
I love that for me. So that's why I woke up last night.
Because you weren't saying the names.
I remember falling asleep was a bit of a task because you just kept tossing and turning. But you'd taken the pain meds at that point, and I knew that, like, anything else, like, I just needed to let you, like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, you're like a baby that needed to just kind of, like, just get
I
comfortable.
don't know why you put up with me. I'm so happy that you do. I'm so,
I
like...
love you.
And
I'm so much worse when I'm in pain. I'm so much worse. This is like a walk in the park. It's fine.
Yeah, but, like, on the scale, you're so much cuter. So, like, on the
Not
XY
true.
axis...
You are equally as cute.
Oh, whatever.
And so I have this, like, just this, I have to take care of you whenever you don't feel good. So whenever like you're in that position, I have this like instinct to just be like, I need to do what, but like at that time I was like, I've done everything I can. Like there's nothing more I can do here besides just let him like roll around a little bit and then fall asleep. Tucker himself out kind of thing. And so I waited for that and then we both fell asleep. And then I think in the middle was when you were like, you're not writing down the names. And then I asked you about the tooth stuff. And then there was another instance where we both woke up that I didn't say anything. And I was just, I think I said, are you okay? And then you said no. And then I laid there a little bit longer because I thought you were going to elaborate. But I was
That
also.
was the kids all day yesterday. Like, Dad, are you okay? No.
And then they just kept screaming about a remote. And I had to be like, okay, I love you all. This remote situation is very important to all of you. However, your father is about to keel over from pain. So maybe we exit the vicinity with the remote because it's not important right now. It was killing me.
Sam says when it was super bad, I was in tears from how bad it hurt and nights without sleep. It's very manageable now because I keep it very clean. Yeah, I'm on a regimen.
I'm about to get
that.
him a water pick. They're expensive, so it'll probably be taken care of by the time I can afford one. But in order to avoid this issue in the future, I think I'm going to.
Thank you for the what have you done
Thank
clip.
you. Like it's, I just love this like headcanon that it's somehow my fault that you're.
Oh, when it was like, and then you were like sitting there, you're like, you were being so sweet too. You're like, what have you done so far? Like, how to get? And I was just like, you're reading the names, and like, I had to wake up enough to be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? But in my brain logic,
And I was so asleep I didn't even realize. Like I knew you were yelling at me about names, but I thought it was like genuinely relevant to what was happening. Like
No.
I was also half asleep, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I must have done something wrong. What was I doing?" Like, you're right. The names. Fuck. Sorry.
Jesus, Jeff, listen to me. Women can look at a blob with one eye and a hot voice and call it cute, like a literal slime. Our standards are not high. Comparatively, you got this. My kids started watching a show about a slime that turns into a girl. It's an anime, and it's like it's another one of those things where I'm just like, did they just come into the night and scoop out Selena's
Come
brain
into the night.
and like put it on screen?
Yeah.
It just
I watched a little bit of it. It's hilarious. It's not the time I was reincarnated as a slime. That one's good too, but it's like something cute slime something. It just got released on Netflix. I don't know anything about it besides that I like how you Google anime slime, and that is what pops up as the reincarnated as a slime.
yeah, that's all that keeps popping up. I might have to run out and
No, I know what it is. Hold on.
what's it called?
Because I just looked it up. It's like
That's the only one I knew of too, Shiki. But no, this one
Puniru wa kawaii slime.
Puniru the kawaii slime.
Yes. I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it besides stop calling me one main. I will give you your money.
Is this not Selena?
I really want to watch all of it. I'm just scared there's going to be like a bunch of fan service and I don't want to deal with that. Listen.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh, it's a paper craft.
Is that not just Selena? Like,
The fucking, oh my god, I didn't notice the bag. Look at the bag. What the fuck is that? That's amazing. Oh my god.
it's just you. I don't understand how they just scooped you out and put you.
Scooped me out.
Shiki said, "Oh yeah, that's Lena. 100%. The shoes, you own so many pairs of shoes that look like that." Um, and then my kids are like, "Oh, you got to watch this show." And it was my kid's birthday, and it's like, also, I fucking love my kid. I've good kids, and it was like my kid's birthday. It was like we spent the night before watching Evil Dead and Chucky, and then the morning it was like, "Hey, watch this slime anime girl show." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And we're watching this show, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is just a show about Lena." And that she looks like Lena, she acts like Lena. This is kind of amazing. And then we hit the ending credits for it, and like all anime shows, it has like a big anime outro. And the big anime outro for the show is like she's at a concert, like in an amphitheater, and all these people have come to see her. And then she does a dance, and everyone's like, woo! And the big dance that the slime girl does is like a quarter of a Macarena. It's like, da-da, da-da. Then she sits down, then she turns into a slime, and she's like, ah? She does that twice. That's the big dance.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, woo!
Understandable. That is what I want to be praised for. I want to do half a dance and then turn into a little blob of slime. And I don't want to apply myself. Yeah, the I looked it up on Wikipedia. It says the demographic is for children, but it's anime.
Yeah.
And like there's like and some little like cheeky jokes here and there, whatever, but like I've just been scarred by so many anime where I'm like, that looks so cute. I want to watch that. And then like 2 episodes in, they're throwing in like 7 sex jokes targeted at the one child character and like putting them in weird fan servicey situations, and I'm just like, I don't get it, and so I just don't want to. It really does ruin the anime for me.
Jesus, I lied. There is some fan service. Anime was a mistake.
The one that really hurt me the most is Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I didn't know anything about that anime when it came out. I think it was a manga first, and then it got turned into an anime. So I didn't know. I'm sure the manga also was tricky in that area. So if I would have read the manga first, I would have already known. But like, I didn't know, and there's just so much fan service in that anime, and it's.
Speaking of which, can you get manga from your common place? Absolutely. Oh, we don't have any on Whatnot yet, but that'll come
we
at some
can start
point.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the plans. Is to put it in here. If you're looking at anything specific, just let us know. But yeah, we'll start getting it up on there too.
The plot, which sounds adorable, is just like a young boy named Kotaro made a slime as a part of a science experiment which came to life. The slime named Puniru resembled a penguin, and her creator thought that was cute, despite him not wanting to admit it. 7 years later, Kotaro is now in his 2nd year of junior high, having a hard time admitting his feelings for his senior. In that time, Puniru gained a new ability to morph herself into a human girl to have her creator notice her cuteness again.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
She's like, notice me.
That's adorable. I'll probably give it a shot and just hope that the fan service is minimal.
All right. This is the news that Sam will care the most about. Google must divest the Chrome browser. Department of Justice renews call for Google to sell Chrome, and Android could be next. This is from Stevie Bonifield over at PC Gamer. This is interesting, I thought, because I honestly thought that the election going the way it went meant a lot of this, these departments actually having teeth about monopolies would start to wane, and maybe they are, and maybe it's just like it's a ship doesn't move very fast, and so it's like we're still living in the after effects of the last 4 years. But as of right now, it seems like things are still moving in that direction. Sam says, "Oh, thank God! I thought the oligarchy would protect the monopolies." Yeah, me too. The Department of Justice is reaffirming its demands for action to break up Google's search monopoly, calling for the sale of Chrome and potentially Android as well. In a court filing published March 7th, the Department of Justice doubled down on its assertion that Google's dominance in the search is result of monopolistic practices that have been leveraged to support other devices such as Chrome and Android in a way that makes fair competition nearly impossible. The revised proposed final judgment lays out the stakes, stating the American people's reliance on Google's search engine is well known. Less understood, however, is how Google, through its unlawful and unchecked monopolistic conduct over the past decade, secured American people's reliance. Google's anti-competitive conduct has denied users of a basic American value, the ability to choose in the marketplace. The remedy for this, according to the plaintiffs, is to require Google to divest Chrome, a critical distribution point, to shield against self-preferencing. Additionally, the court filing calls for a provision for Google to divest Android and includes measures to prohibit Google from making exclusionary third-party agreements, which Google pays partners to be the default search engine on their devices or services. Most notable of these is Google's partnership with Apple, with which the RPFJ references numerous times, calling such deals unlawful distribution agreements. All of that effectively means Google may be forced to sell off Chrome, potentially sell Android, and end agreements with third parties in which Google pays to be the default search engine. The court filing even suggests the judge could require Google to share data to offset the scale disadvantage that its unlawful conduct has created. Jesus, what's happening? Shiki says, "What's happening?" She says, "Google's losing power." She says, "Hey, good." Yeah, it's. I think this time is going to be studied the way that like the late 1800s, early 1900s is studied with like the Andrew Carnegies and whatnot. It's crazy that, you know, Google owns the thing that you use to get to the search engine, and then oftentimes like the site that you get to once you get there. Like it's that they own every piece of it. And now that so many people use like Chromebooks and stuff too, they own the device that you're using to get there too. So it's like they own like 6 or 7 different pieces along the way, and it's crazy. Like we used to in the background play a lot of like very specifically, like for our live comic sales, would play like then, you know, like weird 8-bit covers and stuff like that. Stuff that's you can get away with using, you know, on most platforms. But we had to stop because Google just started like shoving ads on the YouTube stuff constantly, even though we had an ad blocker that would like let that stuff go through usually. And it was the weirdest thing. I was like, we were able to do this for like forever. And then I noticed that it's like, oh, we can still do that as long as we're not in Chrome. Chrome has made it so that like YouTube ads, there's no blocking the YouTube ads. But if you go in outside of Chrome, it seems to work fine. She said also their phones have terrible cameras, so who cares? I don't know. I just, at this point, I'm in the Apple ecosystem, which isn't much better because it's still a big corporation that, but I know how to use that phone and I don't want to learn new phones. Sam says they own the search engine, the browser, the internet, the device. It's actually kind of insane, and they use all those endpoints to farm your data and sell ads back to you. G said, I'm Samsung, there's no escape. She said, "LOL, yeah, but the invincibility mindset is never the best mindset. I'm glad it's blowing up in their faces. Hopefully, it still does. I'm still kind of worried that something will, that this will somehow like they'll be able to stretch this out enough that, we'll get different people in power over these next 4 years that will come in and be like, no, it's fine, and then we'll delay all this stuff for another decade or 2 or 3 or 4. But hopefully not. Hopefully this stuff gets broken up now. But like I said, I think for so many reasons, I think this time is going to be like wildly. I think we are living through a time that it's just going to be like, oh man, people lived through that. Like I just think we're there, unfortunately. And you know, if we live if we're around long enough and the change happens soon enough that we have grandchildren, and they're like, what was that like? We're going to be like, the memes were good.
I'm going to be the coolest grandma, dude. I'm going to be the awesome grandma.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be old.
Me either.
And just like, I don't know that like I want all
such a cute old couple. Oh my god.
We're going to like sit on the porch and like knit or something. Well, I'll probably
I'm not gonna knit.
And I said I'll knit.
Okay,
and you can like paint or whatever. Or we'll do both. Like I'll paint too. You don't have to knit as well.
He says, y'all have fun with that. I'm dying. You enjoy the earth in 50 years. You got this. Sam says Jeff has to knit.
Agreed.
I'm not making it 50. Do you? There's no way. The men in my family do not live long.
50 years, you'd be
I'd be almost 90.
You'd be 88.
I'd be about to turn 88 in 50 years.
It's fine. I said 80. What's 8 more years?
I'm not going to make it to 80, though.
Jeff.
I know you want me to make it to 80.
You decided to date someone 9 years younger than you. I don't know what you want. That was your choice.
Okay.
Date people older than you or your own age if you don't want to live forever.
Okay. It's not a thing of want. It's
if you don't want someone to want you to live forever.
I have yet to know a man in my family that has made it into his 70s. Or sorry, into his 80s.
You're different because I'm here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get you healthy and into shape. I'm gonna be
50 years. You'd be 30. Shiki says you're not allowed to die before her, like Sam isn't allowed to die before me.
Exactly.
28 AI would Jeff merge 2 sentences there? Okay. Yeah, you can have an AI me probably. Would you do that?
No, I don't want an AI you. I want the you that is here right now.
Yeah. You wouldn't do that thing where you're just like, no, it's me. I'm all like,
no,
here.
No.
And also, buy Google stock.
No.
You don't want that?
No, don't.
You could be with me forever. I would just occasionally like suggest things that we all buy, which is kind of the same existence as now.
It is. They're just cool stuff instead of Google products.
Jeff can be we'll party hard. Okay, sounds good. There you go. Keep you alive and continue profiting off your existence. Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Is Steam coming to Xbox?
What?
A leaked image suggests Steam is coming to the Xbox PC app and maybe consoles too. This is from Ali Welsh.
I was just thinking, like, how the hell I'm gonna swing buying a Steam Deck, and it's not happening this year, obviously, but, like, I was like, next year, maybe, perhaps, and now you're just gonna take that away from me and put it somewhere else?
They're not taking it away from you.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess, because Xbox is still a console that you need a screen for. X or handheld. I just want something handheld so I can, like, pick it up. And
yeah, this has nothing to do with your Steam Deck or not your Steam Deck.
Okay.
And we'll get you a Steam Deck this year.
I don't want a Steam Deck this year.
We'll figure it out. It's like if you're gonna actually use it, I don't care. It's like that's a good purchase.
I am actually gonna use it.
Yeah.
I have quite a few games on Steam over the years that this chair is just really uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Like that week that I was like in bed playing on my computer, playing that one game, The Fields of Mystery, a game.
We just need to get you a good chair.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
This chair kind of sucks. No offense to your chairs, Jeff.
Sam's just gonna attempt Sephiroth. I'll be lurky for a bit. I believe in you.
You can
Enjoy
do
One
it.
Winged Angel.
I believe.
He says it costs like $2 million to keep me alive. Currently a year, so I'm done. But you all enjoy the ride. I wonder, once we're all replaced with AI, I wonder if it's going to cost that much amount to have us on. Like,
They'll just do subscription prices or payment plans.
yeah. Shiki said, "Did you hear we beat Kingdom Hearts last night?" I did not. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
G says capitalism is like, we can't out-profit you. You can die. You first tried all the bosses. That's amazing, Shiki. It's funny because it's like that Riku fight. I will just never, with that unskippable cutscene, I will never forget being stuck there as a like 12, 13-year-old and just watching that cutscene again and again and
Over
again
and
and
over
again
and
and
over
again.
and over.
Microsoft seems intent on tearing down the norms of the game industry competition between platforms. Not content with publishing precious first-party games on rival consoles, it now looks as though Xbox is ready to link arms with the leading PC platform, Steam. The Verge reports that Microsoft briefly published an image on Thursday depicting a new cross-device user interface for Xbox. A filter for Steam is clearly visible in the view of the user's game library shown in the image. There is that image, and I guess there's Steam on there somewhere.
Erp.
I don't see it, but I believe them. Okay. The image was published in a blog titled "Opening a Billion Doors with Xbox" about Microsoft's current platform agnostic strategy. The image was apparently quickly removed by Microsoft after The Verge inquired about it. The publication of the image seems to have been a mistake. Does it really indicate that Steam integration is coming to Xbox? In a world where every screen is an Xbox, what does that mean exactly? Certainly not outlandish that Microsoft might seek to make users' Steam libraries visible within the Xbox PC app in this way. The Verge's sources said that Microsoft plans to make every game installed on a PC visible within the Xbox app, and other PC game launchers like GOG do this. But there's a real chance that Microsoft is thinking of expanding Steam integration beyond desktop PCs. The image shows the new Xbox UI running on multiple devices, a laptop, a phone, a tablet, and an Asus ROG Ally handheld. He did the thing. I wasn't fast enough. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Sam. It's a hard fight. My favorite thing about that Sephiroth fight is that to think that we used to go and like do that fight just so we could listen to One Winged Angel. And now I could click 2 buttons and listen to that right now. But just to think of the world where that wasn't a thing, at best you could find a MIDI file online where it sounded like it was coming out of a Casio keyboard. So you would cue that fight up just to be like, oh my god, we're going to listen to One Winged Angel. It's going to be great. Sam said, once Seth hits halfway, he has a move that takes all but 1 HP, so you have to pop. Yes, I remember that.
I'm like weirdly closer to you than I normally am in the show. It's kind of weirding me out.
You are.
I don't know how I got over here.
Because I moved the chair when I was sitting in Rotting yesterday while playing One Lonely Outpost.
We started watching Invincible.
Yeah, we
We're
made
on
it through the first season.
2 now, and I am sad.
It's a lot.
It's so much.
But when I was sitting and playing the game and watching Invincible, I moved that chair closer so I could put my feet in it.
Yeah.
And then you just never moved the chair back.
But I was sitting in the chair. Why would your feet be in it?
You weren't sitting in the chair. You were on the bed.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was sitting in this chair.
After I moved.
Oh, okay. I see now. Yeah, no. It's a good show, though. Good, but also upsetting. And it brought up, like, weird dad stuff for some reason.
I mean, that's why I never went back to the show. And everyone right now, part of my job is hard right now because everyone's coming in like, have you watched Invincible? And I'm like, yes, I watched it. I love it so much. It's so great. I don't have dad problems. Do you have dad problems?
I'm handling this perfectly fine.
Shiki said, we watched the Imaginary the other day, which was cute but sad. Oh, I need to watch.
Sam said, I told you for April Fools, you're taking over the show. This is just a migration over.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
a slow movement.
I have to make it seamless and seem like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm slowly taking over. I don't know how to work that soundboard, so if I am doing a show by myself for April Fools, which would be pretty funny, or at least one where I'm over there and you're over here.
What day of the week is April Fool's?
I don't know, Jeff.
It's
I don't
a
even,
Tuesday.
I don't even know what day. Today
April Fool's
is.
is next week. Oh my god.
Ugh. No, it's not. This year is almost halfway over.
I mean, it's almost my birthday.
It is almost your birthday. Are you excited for your birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want for your?
Steelbooks.
Okay. Well,
It
that.
used to always be whiskey. Now it's just Steelbooks. I want Steelbooks.
Okay.
But you don't have to give me anything.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Don't do that. Gonna get you something. It's my job. Someone just sneezed. It was Pete. Hi, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
Come here, Bubbers. Oh, sheepy boy.
We got the Steelbook of the Evil Dead remake from 2013, and I've only watched that one once before, and we watched it this weekend, and man, can you tell that that's the same guy that made Alien Romulus? Because it's like, this is an okay to good movie that would be a good to great movie if you just took the remember berries out of it. Like it's, if that movie was just comfy being its own thing, it'd be like, oh, what a great entry in Evil Deaddom. Like, this is fun. But it is just like so very concerned with just
with
like
being a sitting next to the original.
yeah.
Yeah.
It being in conversation with the original. It's like, can we just make original stuff, please? Like,
Well, I mean, I was okay weirdly with that one though, because didn't like Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi like sign off on that pretty hard? Like they were excited for it too.
but that's part of the whole Legacy sequel thing, though, is just like, look, the original people are excited about it.
And that made me excited about it because I think they're cool. Come here, Pete.
Lindsay says, have you seen Evil Dead Rise? Yeah, I have.
My big boy. Hi.
Okay, this is.
How are you doing?
I'll be right back.
What? Oh. Are we getting steelbooks out?
Yeah.
Can I show them my Evangelion? Apparently, we're getting steelbooks out right now. And Jeff still trapped Pete in here when he left. Pete's like trying to get out. I gotta go let Pete out before he destroys my purse. Oh, never mind. Can you let Pete out? Behind you. Just kind of like usher him. He acts like he doesn't want out, but he went for the door. Waffles?
That's my chair.
Come here. Okay. Come here. Come here.
So I really like collecting things. It's been the things since I was a little kid. It probably let me feel like safety and structure in an unstructured world. To like collect things, and comics used to be a big thing I collect. I collect comics less because don't get high in your own supply. It is tough to make money and also collect comic books at the same time.
Ruth.
So I've pivoted to collecting steelbooks. They make me really happy to put them on a shelf. I built a shelf for them. They're
Our dining room, and it looks really cool.
Yeah. This is what I have Evil Dead wise so far. Which one are we?
We're over there now.
So here's the Evil Dead Rise one. It's very cool. It's got a cheese grater on the back. But yeah, it's very, very fancy. Here's my OG Evil Dead one. I still don't have 2 or Army of Darkness. But then they just did a new version of the remake of the 2013, which is awesome because for the longest time, this was one of the most expensive steelbooks to get. Not this version of it. The OG one still is.
There's another version?
Yeah, that we'll probably never own.
I didn't know
because it's like
that.
$300 now to get it because it's it came out
That's
and
expensive.
then that's the thing is the print runs on these are all like really small and then they sell out and then it's like that's what exists to them. And so if you don't have money at the time they come out, you don't get them and they're done. He says that's so cool. Cheese grater foreshadowing for Shiki. Lindsay says, I didn't know you're a big Evil Dead fan, Jeff. That's awesome. Have you played any? I've not played any of the games. This is Evil Dead country that we live in, though. The Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are from around here and just were a bunch of silly kids around here that went off and made Evil Dead.
Gone, sweetheart. It's gone.
They didn't shoot it here because Michigan weather is famous for being like cold and nasty, and so they actually went to several states down from us to shoot it, hoping the plan was that would then make it warmer. And very famously, the weather in Michigan those months were beautiful, and they were terrible down there. So they
Oof.
they misplanned.
Big oof waffles.
However, at just about any bar here around Michigan, if you get talking Evil Dead, people will swear their woods is the woods it was shot in. It's just kind of one of those things. It's probably going away now that the internet exists, but like in the years before the internet, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know the
that," and there would be no way to figure it out.
Lindsay says Sam Raimi was like 23 when he made that first movie. That is ridiculous. How can you make something like that so young? Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
What's up, Professor Pixelbit? Says college student from U of M when it started. Tennessee is where the cabin is. It burnt down years ago. Yeah, unfortunately. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, by the way. Nice. Met Bruce at a con, talked Michigan and frogs. That's awesome. Also, just above, we are bringing all 3 snakes to the vet. Why are all 3 snakes going to the vet? I missed that. Yeah, I miss today's stressful day. SSI is going to call me again. I'm an ill person. It's still late. But yeah, all the paperwork and stuff is a nightmare. I said I have to go through that every year for my health insurance, where they're like, well, you should make enough money, so little money that you get to go on Medicaid. And I'll be like, your guys aren't going to give it to me because I'm self-employed and like all the paperwork stuff. I flag everything that I might be trying to rip you guys off. I just want the marketplace insurance, please, that I pay for.
Yeah.
And they go like, well, we have to do this whole test to get you Medicaid first. And I'm like, that's great. You guys aren't going to give it to me. Can I please just pay for my marketplace? They're like, not before you do all this paperwork. And I'm like, cool. They do all the paperwork and they're like, you're rejected for Medicaid. I'm like, cool.
I know. Yeah.
This is Lena's very excited.
I got it for my birthday. It's beautiful. I don't think we have any of the other ones.
Evangelion. I don't know that there
There
are of the original series, and then we may own them at some point, although it'll be a very irresponsible purchase when we do, because they're really expensive, the steelbooks of the original series.
I want to get high and watch this again, because that was my That was my experience of watching this the first time, was just getting absolutely wrecked on edibles. I will not be taking an edible. I will be smoking so I can control it a little more, because I remember watching this and just sitting there and like not being able to move from the couch, and I was like so scared. Not of the movie, just like in general. I was just scared.
Yeah.
Just the feeling of fear. And I remember like being afraid that like I couldn't move, so therefore I was gonna pee myself on the couch. And so that is now, every time I think of this movie, I just think of
Just
that.
think of that time.
So I want to rewatch it and like replace that memory with something good, because it is a very good movie. Also,
They're I'm gonna do this. I haven't cashed that code yet. So they're Blu-rays. And this one's the Blu-ray and the 4K. Quite often I'll get just the Blu-ray versions of things though, because people will be dumping them to get the 4K ones when they come out. But they're Blu-rays. DVDs are taller, and there are some DVD steelbooks out there. Very famously, Twilight New Moon is the one that like everyone tries to like be like, oh, do you guys want this? Because like it doesn't.
wait, Twilight has steelbooks?
Twilight has a steelbook that is like the entire thing, of which I almost bought at one point, and you told me no because it was too expensive, and like we didn't really have money at the time.
Yeah, but like if there's ever a point where we do have that money that we can throw at it, I would be interested in
There's
that.
an entire collection steelbook that I've almost bought a number of times.
Here,
But
let's
like
put this one.
the
Oh, that's fun.
I was laughing
That's
because
amazing.
they all start with E.
Yeah. I didn't even plan that. I was just like, oh my God, I got it on my birthday. We went to Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble has steel books,
Yes.
which I think is crazy. And we went to Barnes & Noble for my birthday, and I was like, oh my God, I need that. Like,
Lindsay was asking what this is. It's End of Evangelion 3 and 4.1. Or not End of Evangelion. Sorry, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.11, whatever. The Race Upon a Time.
the newest one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
Lindsay, what?
what?
I cut you off.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I don't remember if that was the last movie,
It
because
is the last movie.
I smoked a lot of pot during the times of these movies being what I was watching. So,
Lindsay, I will say, steelbooks are amazing. They're really fun to collect. You are in the mecca for them in a lot of ways. You can get a hold of a lot of them that I try to and fail to, and sometimes I have to import a lot of steelbooks because you're.
wait, did Sam beat? Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I just was reading the chat and I seen someone say grats. Did Sam beat?
Looks like he did.
Yay, congrats. Sorry. I just didn't want to miss that.
Good game, Sam.
GG.
There are amazing steelbook, and the Zavi shop stopped sending all their exclusives over here. Like they literally refuse to ship them over here now. And so it's like you also could have a market just by going and buying your exclusive steelbooks there and then selling them to weirdos like me. Shiki says, slight aside, person who hired me for book outlines accepted my outline and not only asked me to do one more, but two more. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats.
And the guy for TTRPG needs a couple more edits, and then those stories are done.
Yeah. Open them.
He says, I put the ones you're likely to beat down the ones you're like, what? Oh, last time the doctor came by for SSI, I showed him my chart, and he just decided what meds I still take. That's dumb.
That always throws me off when doctors are like, oh, I don't like these. Sorry, I opened this bag of pom-poms expecting them to be soft and feel them, touch it. It's like not soft. It's like
It's so
Oh,
funny.
and they're like coming apart. No, give me, put it back in. Put it back in.
Putting those in my mouth right now would make my mouth so much worse, but it looks like it would make it feel better.
No, just like soak it and like whatever will make your mouth feel better. Something.
Whiskey.
Maybe.
That was last night. It was
if you drink some whiskey or take some whiskey, put this in there, then just like set it on the tooth.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not a dentist.
Professor says sell metal to weirdos. Got it. Yep. Lindsay says, was there any you want me to keep an eye out for? I can't. I'm poor right now. Man, I could have so used you and other Sam and Stu like 3 or 4 years ago when I had Buddy and I was like, can't get a hold of this. And then now I've got so many people be like, oh, I will help you get that. And I'm like, yeah, I can't afford that.
Not right, meow.
But there's a lot of movies that don't even get a physical release at all here, or don't even get a 4K at all here, that you guys will have access to like 4K releases and Steelbook releases and everything else. Because here in America, the majority of consumers have decided, like, who needs physical media?
Let's stream everything, even though they take it away. They take shows off of streaming stuff like constantly, and it stresses me the fuck out because I'll be like, I swear to God, this show was on this thing and now it's not, and I can't watch it. Like, I can watch it on another streaming service, but I got used to watching it on this streaming service, and now I have to learn a whole new layout, and it's not good for my brain.
No.
It makes me sad.
Also, I've watched Stinkin' Voodoo, which is like, Voodoo is like when I cash in
Fandango at home now, actually.
When I
Jeffrey.
cash in this Evil Dead Rise, which I think I already have on there, so then I'll be passing it on to Emmanuel, which is what I do with the ones I already own. So that to build up their library, right? But like Voodoo is great, but it went from Voodoo to Voodoo owned by Walmart, which was fine. And then now it's Fandango at home, and in my experience, once you start like really changing the names of things, that's where like the library gets kind of scary. And I'm just like, I own a lot of shit on here. Could you guys not fuck around with it, please?
Not fuck around with it.
But I originally started fucking with Voodoo back when it was called Voodoo, now called Fandango at home. When my buddy had, I think, the best, because he's an all digital person, right? And he's someone who is not into physical media. But he, however, was like someone who worked at Meijer and not in that department at all. But he would go and he would look at what, and I don't think you could, there's no physical movies at all at Meijer anymore. And even if there's the print runs are so small now, I don't think you could get away with doing this, because like stuff sells out so much more quickly now. But he would go and he would look what titles were available that had digital codes inside them, and he would take a picture of them, and then he would put them up on eBay as a sale, disc in case only, no code. And then when it would sell, he would then take that money and he would go buy the movie, take the code out of it, sell and ship the movie. He'd make a little bit of money, especially because he had a Meijer discount. So he'd make a little bit of money on it and he'd get a free movie. And when you go to his house, you'd be like, how do you have like all of this stuff on Voodoo? And he would explain it, and you'd be like, that is the most genius thing I've ever heard of. Why doesn't everybody do that? He's like, I don't know. And it was pretty impressive. But it also meant that like his collection was vast, but it was very random. Because it would be like, why do you have 3 of the 4 Shades of Grey movies? Like, why do you have that? He's like, I don't know, someone bought them, so I have them. It was just wild.
50 Shades of Grey movies?
Yeah.
There's more than one?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only had known of the one,
Oh.
and that was it.
Oh.
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I've not seen it even.
I read the books.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Are they
read the
good?
book. I don't remember. I was really like, when did that book come out?
Post Twilight. It started as Twilight fan fiction, so.
Hi Waffles.
G says, when I have to talk SSI people, I cry, wish me luck. Good luck. I hate stuff like that. That's my least favorite, when you have to do like stupid paperworky.
I hate talking on the phone and I hate paperwork, and when those two things are combined, it's like my worst fucking nightmare. And it's just, I'm not used to it because my grandma did everything like that for me my whole life. So like now whenever I like made a weird noise. But whenever I have to do stuff like that now, I just feel like they're gonna get mad at me because I don't know anything about anything. I just don't know things.
Right.
So it's never a fun experience.
I know I don't know things though, and I just play that card. I'm like, hi, I'm an idiot. I'm gonna be the nicest idiot you've ever talked to on the phone, but I'm gonna be an idiot. Let's go. Professor Pixelbit says, whole reason I got Paramount Plus was for Star Trek, and it was the only place that had all the shows and the movies, new and old, and then they ditched all the movies, and now they are free on Pluto. And the shows are on Pluto too. I'm back to sailing the high sea. Yeah, that stuff drives me absolutely insane. But yeah, physical media, they can't take this shit away from
No, pry it from my cold dead hands.
you.
You won't.
And so physical media is the way to go. And then the reason I do steelbooks is I need collecting breaks. And it's bad enough with the steelbooks, but like I will not buy movies because they aren't steelbooks, and that is an easy way to tell myself no in those moments of time where like I have money but shouldn't be spending money.
Children like screaming. You hear that? It scared me.
I did not hear that.
I heard it. Scared me.
Jesus, not counting my allergies to antibiotics or on medicine you're allergic to, it's so rigged. They also don't let people help you too. I have delirium, possibly early onset dementia, and have to self-advocate. Yeah, that's so fucked. I hate everything here. Like, I just stuff
It's
that
not a
should
good
be
time.
easy and simple is just hard. Professor Pixelbit says also the edits to the Times too. Disney has edits most of their shows and movies from the older version to make them age better. Yeah, they digitally added hair to Splash, which is like every time I see, I'm like, why?
What?
It's the movie Splash. That's just a silly movie about a girl who's a mermaid.
And they gave her hair?
They digitally added hair to cover up her butt.
What?
There's a scene in Splash where, like, because she's like a mermaid that then turns into.
I thought you meant she was bald, and I was like,
No.
Okay.
They digitally added hair to. I'm not making this up.
I believe you. I'm just confused.
G says it's nice Bluebell won't climb her sticks, and I couldn't figure out why. She lives in caves, that's why. Show in the chat, Jeff. I will if I can find it.
There's an article about it, but there's no like. I'm not like that invested in any of this.
Yeah, Disney tried editing out Darahano's butt by making her hair longer. Yeah, see, that's the. Here's a gif of
What?
it.
Why?
Because it showed her butt, and they have to. So they digitally added hair to cover her butt.
That looks so bad. Oh my god. That looks so bad. I don't understand. I've never seen this movie, so I didn't know the original. But like what the fuck?
It looks like fur.
Oh my god, a woman's butt. So fucking offensive and awful. How dare you?
Right, they could show Thanos' head being chopped off, but they can't.
Oh my god, that's right. Jesus. Ugh.
God
It's
forbid.
an ass. Everyone has one. Like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Oh my god.
It doesn't move when she does. It saves the same angle. Yeah, it's bad.
I hate
Dives. Okay, I chose does. I knew she. I didn't mean dies.
just yeets herself into the ocean. Is that Tom Hanks?
It is Tom Hanks. It's baby Tom Hanks.
Oh
Yeah, you've never seen Splash?
no.
It's like Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah.
We should watch it sometime. It looks oddly wholesome, minus the fucking hair. What the fuck?
And
Look at him. He's like, what the hell?
this is the original version, which like is not. It's up on YouTube. It's
Did
not
she
like
just bite her lip?
yeah. Oh yeah. She.
Did she do that in the
Yeah.
in the edited one? Because they should edit that out. That's way more sexual than her ass.
It's not even like bad.
What the fuck? You can't even see her butt. You can't even see her butt. What? That's ridiculous. She's an adult, right? That's an
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
woman.
Yeah, I mean, a mermaid.
Whatever.
not quite a woman.
adult
Not
woman.
quite a woman.
Mermaid. Is she
Not yet a mermaid.
Stop. Is she supposed to be an adult in the movie? Or is she like a teenager?
Adult.
Okay, then I could kind of see like maybe if they were like, oh, it's like a younger actress and they don't want to show her butt or whatever. Like, that's an adult woman playing an adult woman. Disney, you are so bothered by the weirdest of things.
Kiki says, "Oh, she looks like she grew hair on her back and butt." Yes, hardly even see it. I mean, she means adult actress. Yeah, no, it's insane. The whole
I'm
thing.
so glad that Disney wasted money on that, and yet we can't get fucking. See, if they didn't waste money on that, maybe they would have had money to animate Pleakley in drag, but instead we get
Kiki says mermaids can't have butts. It's not allowed. Which is another thing for like why physical media is important, because it's like they're going and editing stuff and you never own anything and you never. But you know what? Unless they kick down our door.
Oh, they'll have to murder me for that. I spent forever. Yeah, you said Shiki said something, and I don't think Shiki said it. I think it was
sorry.
Giu. But I was waiting for someone else to point it out because I wasn't sure if I was right because I forgot as soon as you said it. I was like, what did he say? Yeah.
Reverse Mermaid Ballet? I don't know Reverse Mermaid Ballet.
Something about it. Hold on. I heard about Texas Anime Band. No. What is that?
There's a Texas anime band?
I might be the wrong person to talk to about this because I don't.
You might be like, yes, let's ban it.
Maybe. I don't know.
A proposed U.S. law wants to ban lots of anime.
But it has one big problem.
Okay, so this is an article from Marcel Green on Screen Rant that says Texas fans of anime and manga were thrown into an uproar earlier this month when news emerged that the state Senate had passed a bill that could potentially make it a felony to possess anime and manga that appeared to depict minors in an obscene manner.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, this is the wrong chat to be. Like, I think we're going to be like, sounds great.
yeah, I'm one of those people that I'm just like, I don't see the point of fan service depicting minors because, like, I don't get it. I'm not in any way equating it to real content, but I do think that it's just unnecessary and, like, yeah. Wait, so why is Power? I thought Power was supposed to be an adult. Is she a teenager? Oh my god, Denji's a teenager. That would get rid of Chainsaw Man.
While the
I forgot about
SB20
that.
stated purpose is to combat the increasing problem of AI-generated and computer-created child pornography, its language could encompass depictions of minors that do not traditionally meet the legal definition of child pornography. This ambiguity is a source of concern for anime and manga fans who fear the potential that they will be deemed criminals. The issue with the law is that it pertains to anime and manga is threefold. Firstly, the demographics of anime and manga characters skew young, with a significant number of protagonists being minors. Notable examples include Monkey D. Luffy, My Hero, Attack on Titan, all of whom are either minors or spent substantial portion of the series as minors. Second, from the perspective of cultural norms and regulations, Japan has relatively less restrictive approach to the depiction of anime and manga characters in sexualized or sexually suggestive situations. In short, it's not uncommon to see anime and manga characters portrayed in such suggestive depictions. Sure. Also, like, I don't know. This is like the one space where I start to go like, here is this very nuanced thing.
I think.
However,
What?
you can go ahead.
No,
Oh.
I'd like to hear what you have to say first.
It's a very nuanced thing. However, anime and manga circles, like the fandom, has had a real perv problem that they have not successfully self-policed. And at this point, if the government comes in and starts taking shit away from y'all, you kind of earned it by not self-policing. It is there is still this on-ramp of like,
We are currently dealing with something like this in one of my Stardew Valley groups. There's a admin who openly is very into like lolly anime and that genre of things. Not even like Chainsaw Man, like Denji in awkward situations, but straight up like lolly ick. Like I do, and I don't like talking about that stuff because like my ex had a big problem with that stuff, and it was a pipeline to not great stuff. And I'm not saying that everybody that doesn't see a problem with that stuff is in that category. I'm just saying that like my personal experience with it is that dudes that are like really excited about the underage anime girls tend to, the line is really blurred there. I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm just saying like
unfortunately right now there is this pipeline for kid that already is kind of on the outskirts of traditional social circles gets into anime. Kid, so this 10-year-old kid then starts getting on forums and message boards and whatever the 2025 equivalent of that is, Discord servers, about that anime and how excited and like cool they think that anime is.
Mhm.
And it might be the silly slime one, which we were pointing out might have some problematic things in it, even in that. And it's just like, oh, this girl turns into a slime, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it meets dude in that forum who then's like, oh, if you like this anime, you should watch this anime. This is my favorite anime. And that person starts being conditioned to be like, oh, ogling, seeing 10-year-old girls, 11-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls as sexual objects. Like that's okay and fine because it's happening in all these things that I'm watching that I really like. That
As
also,
someone who started watching anime at a really young age, that shit was so normalized in the early 2000s, and now I try to watch an anime that I watched when I was 12, and I just can't because it's so gross. And like I don't know that I would go as far as some people do with banning stuff and being like, it's just like, speaking from personal experience, like what I have like noticed it's just it's not good. Like
Right.
it's not a healthy thing to. I think it's okay to like have some fan service in anime. I think it's okay to have conversations about it. Like I'm not. I mean I watch Chainsaw Man. I watch Evangelion, and I'm also like media literate to where I can be like that. It doesn't feel like they're like glorifying it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because like there are things that do, and there are things that are like framing it in a like, hey, this isn't good, kids. Like this isn't great. However, the overall issue is that it's like this has been a problem in this fan base for a long time that has not been successfully self-policed. And in a perfect world, y'all could have all your stuff and the bad actors are the bad actors, and we could just like separate those things. But that has not worked out. And so if we all have to lose our stuff to keep kids safe, I'm okay with that world.
Yeah.
Personally. And I'm usually the last person to be like, hey, stuff should be going away. All right. We just missed a lot of chat, so I'm going to try to catch up on it all. Professor Pixel Bit says, "Yep, it's killing all anime. No Evangelion hospital scene."
If anything, maybe this will push anime creators to make anime about like college students or adult people having. Like, I've just never understood the like. I guess I understood it when I was a teenager because I was a teenager, but I'm not a teenager anymore, and I can't find an anime where there's adults having adventures and going through things.
Yeah. And it turns
that's my problem, I think.
It turns out most people aren't teenagers. So maybe we should make media about most people instead of about kids and teenagers. I don't know. Professor Pixelbit says it's not targeting hentai, which is the dumb part because that's what they are after. Shiki says, I think by it being normalized in anime, it leads to people thinking it's normal and seeking it in media or real life. I've never been a fan of the barely legal trope. There are so many other ages to show 20 plus is still young and a good age to relate to people. They don't need to be 16. If that's such a big deal, you need to look in the mirror. G says, I am worried about gay girls in media, though. That's a good point, though, is a lot of times this kind of stuff is used as a way to get laws like over the fence, and then once the law actually exists, instead of going after the thing it was intended for, it'll like de-queer spaces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a legitimate fear, and I'm glad I don't have to make these kinds of decisions because again, there's a real problem that needs to be fixed, but like and this may or may not be a path to it. But there could be lots of other things that could happen along the way. Professor Pixelbit says that's the next ban. This is testing waters, mostly just like deporting green card. Yeah. G says, with all due respect, 90% of the people I know that are into that stuff didn't stop there, and it normalized for younger folks too. Like depicting minors that way isn't okay. It's although sometimes what's rough is it's like I don't like painting with a broad brush because it's like there are probably times artistically and story-wise where I don't like ever saying like stories should never go this place because like
no, but I think it's important to kind of have, again, media literacy and be like, oh, this is being depicted in a way that is glorifying it, or oh, this is being depicted in a way that's not glorifying it.
And
like the scene in Evangelion, I don't think is meant to like glorify what he's doing. If anything, a lot of fans are always like, that's a huge L. Like, what the fuck, Shinji? Like, and the Chainsaw Man stuff, like with the older character, I forget her name, going after the younger character, like all the Chainsaw Man fans were like, what the fuck, that's weird. Like,
yeah, but because that feels more like a Full Metal Jacket scene, if anything, of just like these kids are so fucked, they're off in like these war type situations, and it's like
that doesn't feel like fan service. That feels like
messy and sad. And
like the stuff I have a problem with is the like the Kobayashi's like we were just talking about Kobayashi's Dragon Maid earlier. There's like a bunch of scenes in it where like I think like she's literally supposed to be like a kindergartner, like kindergarten age, or
The
like
fucking fuck.
or like 7 or 8 or something like that. Like she has the like appearance of a very small child.
Yeah,
But everyone's like, she's the 1,000-year-old dragon, guys, so it's fine.
it's fine.
She acts like a child. She has a child voice. She has a child lisp. She has child mannerisms. She literally like probably even thinks like a child, if I'm remembering correctly. So she's not, because it's just so annoying. I don't like it. It's like, because
Yeah.
if it would have been a cute anime, but then they start sticking her in like really awkward situations, and it's like there's other characters they could do that with. There are grown ass adult dragon characters and grown ass adult characters, and they decide to do it with the 2 like underage characters, and it's strange to me. And then like, and you can do the like the trope of like older person in a younger person's body. We just watched Invincible, and they did that fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, she has the mentality of a child. She has the mentality of a 25-year-old woman. Monster Girl does. And, like, there's no awkward scenes with her anyway. But, like, it frustrates me. I don't like it. It's unnecessary.
Sam, who's probably not here anymore. Thank you, Sam. Sorry if we missed your
Sorry,
goodbye.
Sam.
We're getting there. Sam said a while ago, forums and message boards are so old, Jeff. I caught myself as I was saying it, and said there are cesspool Discord servers and whatever Telegram is now. What the fuck is Telegram?
Oh, Telegrams. I don't go near Telegram.
Professor Pixelbit says, tell us more about your time at Yahoo. I'm old. I'm sorry. I turned 38 in a few weeks.
I had Gaia online.
Lindsay says, yeah, it's weird as hell. Cheeky says, we're also old, Sam. G says, also, I want to be clear, Kaze-san doesn't have a fan service-y scene, and it doesn't have a sex scene. It has a scene that almost goes there and becomes a great convo about consent, and they both say no. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's
I'll have to look that up. That I've heard of that anime before.
It says, yeah, it's how those folks normalize themselves in normal circles and desensitize people. Shiki's
Oh, this one. I've seen this one.
that one, yeah. Shiki says fan service is fine, but it should involve adult characters. Yeah. Giu says, and yeah, maybe this can mean adult fan service more. Why is it always underage? That's a good question. Professor Pixelbit says no sword art because they have that one scene. Now Japan isn't restricted to our industry. We are not their target audience. That's fair. So like, I will say, as someone who sells manga, it's gotten easier, and it feels like there's less of this stuff in it these days as there were like even 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. There has been progress, and like, well, I again don't. I think that this ban is very broad and doesn't necessarily. It might not do what it's intended to do. However, I do think like it's important to kind of like realize the differences between the two things.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into anime as much as I used to be. So like if this happened like a while ago when I was watching anime heavily, I would probably be a bit more affected, to be honest. But like now if we lose anime over this, it's a bummer. Like it sucks. But like again, if it's keeping kids safe, and I do think though that this specific ban needs to probably have some tweaks to where, because like again, it's going to be banning like 90% of things, and people are not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, Professor Pixelbit says like that's 80% of all anime now, so it would ban like 80%. Shiki said, well, media can censor/remove episodes. If there's only one scene, it can be removed easily. Games and movies edit their media for more restrictive cultures and countries. If anime can't be created without depicting minors in compromising situations, then maybe they should be censored until they can. Yeah.
That's fair.
She says, like, that's inherently bad when cons have so much pedo shouts and VAs are constantly outed for it, and Japan claims 90% of high school girls have been felt up. I don't know those stats, but I know it's bad. But I don't know specific stats to there. All I know is like American anime and manga culture has had a pervy problem for a while. Within its culture, and y'all have not self-policed, and that's the thing. It's like if you look over history and time, there's always this stuff where it's like people come in and make changes for you if you don't. And I still think there's time. I still think there's time for like anime cons to come out and be like.
Also, I feel like they were trying to. My brain has been going over this for a minute. I feel like they tried to do this before, and it didn't work. But we're also living in a completely different timeline now, so
Yeah.
it very well could work this time. But yeah, I'm gonna do more reading on it and see.
Yeah, Professor Pixelbit says, too bad Invincible Band has a child-shaped character kissing another child. Republican lawmakers don't care about these nuances, though. It solely will be about control in the Bible, and whatever is not that will be banned, period. It's a cult now, and you have to push back or you'll lose more power now more than ever. Lingsy says, Telegram is like Russian Discord, I believe. Okay, I had no idea what that was. Cheeky says, also Sam isn't streaming today, but we're about to get cozy. Okay, fair enough. I was just like, oh man, we're at that time.
It's that time already.
G says the community let it happen. Like, I just saw people in an anime comment section for Dan to Dan saying, why do Americans try to keep others to their value about the underage SA scene? Like, the anime community goes down the slippery slope a lot more. Like, yeah, they don't self-police. They brought it on themselves. I still think there's time. I think there's time because there are good people within anime and manga communities and at these cons and everything.
The climate has shifted a lot too. Like, it is, again, as somebody who started watching anime when they were like 11 versus now, it's like it's different.
I will also say that like community running is difficult. Community running is hard. Self-policing is hard. It is. That doesn't mean that it isn't a thing that we should do. It is just like I do have some sympathy and empathy, because it's when you're trying to keep large groups of people all happy at the same time and getting along, which is like people. It's very hard for that to happen, and unfortunately bad actors are really, really good at keeping everyone happy. That's part of their hunting skill set, is that they're really good at like keeping all the powers that be happy and like not stirring up a fuss.
Yeah,
they're very, very good at it. And so there is some level of proactiveness that has to take place, and it's going to be uncomfortable, for a lot. Whatever solution we come up with to stop this problem, which is a problem, is not going to be a thing that feels comfortable to the people that aren't part of the problem. Unfortunately, that's the way this stuff works. We have to keep kids safe. And it's going to be something that we're probably going to have to give something up to keep kids safe. I don't know what that is. But it's like I'm with you, Professor Pixelbits. Like, in my heart of heart and like my full academic argument, I don't like censoring anything. I don't like. I would rather it all be out there and then we make our opinions on it and everything. But like right now, there is this unfortunate pipeline that exists that we have to shut down. I've chosen just to like not really have at the comic shop, not really have like, hey, here's anime club or here's everything, just because it's like I know I don't have the spoons to police that at the amount that I would have to police things. And like Sam and Shiki have talked about like, hey, we're just making our community 18 or older because it's easier than having to do all the things you would have to do to keep kids safe if they ended up in here, and it's like,
Yeah, that's where I'm uncomfortable even with letting my own kids watch my streams. It's like and we don't let them on Twitch as far as I know and things like that, but like it's just and I'm sure they see that as like, oh my god, like how dare you, we want to watch our streamers and we want to watch this or that, but like it's hard to keep kids safe on the internet. Like
Professor Pixelbit says anime is great, and you forget how much it's taught us in teen years. We just were lucky to have outside influence in our life, so we didn't fall down that slippery slope. But Selena did.
I did, yeah.
She did.
Unfortunately, this is why it's a really hard topic to talk about. I'm not saying I went down the slippery slope of I think lolly and all that stuff is okay, but that I was groomed by a 20-something-year-old man for over a decade because that was so normalized to me. I really do think that the anime had something to do with it, and I know that sound, as somebody who like my grandma at the time was like, why are all these teenagers in skimpy clothes, and like this is not something I want you watching, and I would be like, no grandma, it's fine. I do think it like normalized that for me because I was a child who did not have the media literacy to be like, hey, this is actually not normal. Now as an adult, I can look at those anime and be like, that's maybe not something that like I think is like normal or good. However, like that also means that like if my kids are sitting there watching that stuff day after day after day and seeing that stuff being normalized, I am going to be like, hey, just so you know, it's not normal for like a teenager. There was also like they would normalize like adult men going after teenagers in anime all the time.
Yeah.
And it would be normalized. It's really hard to talk about, and I don't have the like spoons to kind of go into exactly why I feel the way that I do right now, but like as a whole, I will say I do think that there should be more like lines.
Yeah.
In anime. I do think the outright banning everything is not the move. I do think that like again, it's important to kind of like separate what is glorifying it and what is normalizing it and what is actually being like, hey, this is a real situation that you could get into and here's how you should handle it kind of thing. Because there are anime that does that, but it's like I don't know, it's just and the culture has shifted a lot too, because there are like the whole like pedo bear thing. I don't know if you were around for pedo bear, but that was a very like common trope in forums and stuff back in like 2008 to 2010. Like Gaia, it was a joke. Like people would make a joke out of it because it'd just be like they would post like anime depicting like younger characters or whatever and make jokes about pedo bear. And like looking back on that, it's like I understand that was all like it was probably all teenagers doing it too. But it was so normal to make jokes about things like that I think nowadays it's either we villainize it or like I don't know, like how to put it into words that make sense right now.
No, because it's like we watched Spotlight this weekend, which is one of my favorite movies. It's like, if you haven't watched it, it's this incredible film about the news group that actually, despite lots of pressure not to, published all the stories that exposed the Catholic Church for like everything that they were doing, shuffling problematic priests around and stuff. It's an incredible film, and I remember the time before those articles hitting. I remember the environment while those articles were hitting, and I've lived through now, and like I can tell you at the time it was crazy, and now it's just like ha 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 priest sex joke, like it's just a joke now. It's just a joke, and these thousands and thousands and thousands of victims, like their stories are no longer being told because it makes people uncomfortable. But these jokes have not gone. What changed in the culture is basically there's jokes now, and it fucking sucks. And it's like even, yeah, I know that it's I was going back and reading forum posts for when that movie won Best Picture, and there's just so many people like this movie's boring.
Meanwhile, my fucking heart rate through that whole movie was like spiked.
Oh yeah,
and like it's just it. Yeah, I think for now, it's hard for me to have this conversation as somebody who was victimized by someone who used the like.
Is it okay if I keep reading comments, or do you need me to like stop?
No,
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm just saying, like, if I have to step out of this conversation, it's not because I'm like upset at anyone or because like I'm angry with anyone. I just
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's like it's hard. And it's like as somebody who like loves the fuck out of anime still, I'm just not as deep into it as I used to be. Like it is hard to admit that like that it was part of the like it did normalize some things for me that shouldn't have been normalized. And like I would never paint with a broad brush and say that that's all anime, but like it was more than I should have been seeing.
Professor Pixelbit says, or parents should just parent more. Sure, but also we should protect kids regardless of who their parents are. Is also important.
Also, as someone whose parents tried to parent me away from the anime, it doesn't work like that. Like, I mean, I guess they could have they tried to take away my computer. They tried to take away like all of that stuff. Like, if a kid is into anime, like that generally, even at school too, they'll find a way to get to it. Like, and it's, I don't know that like at the same time though, my grandparents also gave me unrestricted access to the internet. So that's a problem. Don't give your kids unrestricted access to the internet.
Yeah, but like that's all to say. Like, and everything changes. It's like all of the information I had of being a teen, and I was a teen not that long ago compared to most parents. It's like I have a kid graduating this year. I am 20 years older than him, which means that it's like I am only 20 years removed from these things, and all of the information that I have of where technology was 20 years ago does not apply to now in this life. So it's like, as much as it's like, oh, parents just need to parent more like that, it's like, sure, but like, one, we still should protect kids whose parents aren't great, and two, like, parents can only be so equipped in a lot of these situations because it's like these bad actors are always going to think past the parents. You says, same, Lena. I still blame Mamoru and Sailor Moon 90s for some of the choices I made. Professor Pixelbit says regular TV shows normalize that church normalize it, Republicans normalize that. Yes, sadly, all that's probably true to some degree. And the church stuff, like I was just talking about Spotlight, it's watching that and then knowing that like also the big takeaway from a lot of that stuff is like, boy, is the Catholic Church bad? But I'm one to tell you, growing up in evangelical circles, it's a problem there too. Professor Pixelbit says they voted to keep child marriages in Georgia. Gross. G says, I was abused and not raised around normal stuff, so that messed me up. Shiki said, I'm just going to pop in really quick and say that playing devil's advocate has never really helped. It doesn't matter what other guys are okay with. If there are things that you willingly compromise your values to keep TV shows around in order to make progress, we have to agree to do so in good faith, which means making compromises and losing things we like. Yeah, that's that's what I was trying to articulate when I was saying, like, if we do solve these problems, it's probably going to feel uncomfortable to people that weren't contributing to the problems at all in the first place. And that sucks. I hate that. Like, it shouldn't happen. Ideally, these would not be problems, right?
Yeah.
It fucking sucks that they are. But at the end of the day, we have to. You've got two people here on microphones that have been affected by, shitty dudes who take advantage of kids. And, like, we're sitting here saying, like, yeah, no, we like a lot of anime, but we would rather have not had that anime and grown up in a world where we were kept safer. That's what it comes down to it. And if it comes down to that trade, I understand the intellectual argument that it might not come down to that trade, and we might just be losing stuff and not fixing the problem. And we can have that conversation. But if the conversation is at all like, hey, we can fix the problem, but we lose all this stuff, I would much rather lose the stuff and fix the problem. And I love stuff. I do. G said, I'm assuming this joke on the cousins thing, but child being depicted sexually, consenting LGBT relationships that aren't sexual being banned are not the same. Under this law, potentially they would be. It's the law is like so permissive, and that's the potentially the big danger that Professor Pixelbits was lining up, is that it could just be used to, on the other end of it, like they might be talking about protecting children while they're passing the law, and then on the other end of it, they would only use the law to be like, oh, two girls kissing, that has to go.
Yeah.
Which definitely is a concern. Because that's that is a trick book that they do like playing. She said, I had an adult man hit on me in an MMO and got mocked for it by nerds. That's not how that's supposed to work.
It's really interesting because I had similar experiences where when I was being groomed by an older man in high school, I got made fun of for having an older boyfriend. Instead of the swap, which should have been everybody making fun of him for being a pedophile, I got made fun of for, I guess,
being a victim,
only being able to date an older man. I don't really know what that was, why that was funny to everyone that I went to school, and maybe not everyone I went to school with, but like the majority of people I went to school with.
That's a bummer.
It was really strange. It's an interesting experience for sure and now it's like, it obviously I'm sure people would feel differently, but the teenagers around me were just like bullying the wrong person.
Yeah. Professor Pixelbit says, true, Tashiki's point, true, but whose values, who considers it good? There's a small group in power who think all LGBTQ people are bad, and their morals of making the world better for kids is getting rid of them. Which is unfortunately true. Shiki says that's a false equivalency. I'm talking about depictions of children in compromising situations. It's nothing like that. There obviously need to be distinctions. I didn't say blindly follow, but removing harmful media is important. Yeah. Unfortunately, where we all agree, and it's easy to get caught up and get very emotional in arguments and conversations like this, is they do pull this trick where they play against how I feel and Selena feels and how Shiki, how you feel, and Giyu, how you feel, to get these things passed. And then on the other end of it, they'll sometimes only use it to then erase queer space. And that is a legitimate fear. And that does not mean that like the things that they're saying they should eliminate right now shouldn't be eliminated. But that is a pretty legitimate thing to be afraid of them doing, unfortunately. Jesus, here's my take. The fact that multiple women in this chat have had bad experience due to it says there's a problem. Yeah, I'd agree. I love anime, but other media exist. It's just, it sucks. It sucks because it's like, there are a lot. I grew up as a kid who felt different. There are a lot of us that grow up that way. And anime and nerdy games and all of these things were a way for us to like find community and find identity in a way that, and find like a way of belonging in this world, in a world that often felt like we didn't fucking belong in it, and was like constantly just like, what the fuck's wrong with you, kid? Come on, Square, get into this round hole. And a lot of us, whether it be in anime or in church or in wherever these spaces are, find ourselves and find our identity and find our place where we find like, fuck yeah, we belong now. Cool. I don't hate myself anymore. And then to have that then become a space where you're not safe fucking sucks. And it's difficult for those of us that have experienced that to have a entirely intellectual and academic argument about the merits of art around this when that's been the lived experience. And that doesn't mean, not to single you out, Professor Pixelbits, that does not mean that like the things you're saying don't academically make sense. It's just, it is a very difficult conversation to have when the lived experience is like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because it's like, I do agree with some of the things that are being said, but like as a whole, it's like, I, again, do not think that we should ban all anime and that this law is in any way, shape, or form perfect or should go through even. I do think that there needs to be a closer eye on what goes through the line with what is normalized in anime. That's all.
Yeah.
It's probably a little hard for me to articulate that because I do get kind of heated about this kind of thing. And also, like, again, I was probably like, as a teenager, being like, no, it's totally fine that these things are in this, and like, but as an adult, I just feel differently. And like you were saying, it's really hard because, again, like anime was I had a really, really hard childhood and it relied heavily on escapism, like really intense forms of escapism. And anime was one of them. And so it's like, I am in no way, shape, or form being like, we need to get rid of all of anime and it's all terrible and etc. I just think that like there also needs to be lines and there needs to be boundaries and there needs to be like, if you see a dude, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but like there's a huge drama thing happening in one of my Stardew Valley groups on Facebook right now where one of the admins is being called out for openly, not even just like, I think lollies are cute. Like, they're like, I am attracted to these characters and it's fine because they're not real children. I don't like real children, but lollies are and like, just not having some great takes, for lack of a better word. And just trying to like normalize it and trying to use that like, well, they're just pixels. It's just like, it's just a drawing. It's just a and like completely erasing the nuances that, again, like, I'm not necessarily equating the like anime depicting minors like that to real stuff. I'm just saying that like it is a problematic thing to both allow in general and also to just be like, I think, and this goes back to like just parent your kids better, kind of like make sure your kids aren't watching that stuff and make sure like kids aren't being allowed to like run rampant in a space that will subject them to that kind of thing. And it's hard because again, there are anime with fan service and there's anime that doesn't have fan service, and it's sometimes hard to distinguish the two because like again, you could watch an anime for like, I don't know exactly like how far in for the dragon one I was talking about earlier they start doing the fan servicey stuff, but like it's just so normalized that they just use it as like a plot device.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to like convey, that I think should be like looked at more heavily.
I would fucking personally it's a hard thing to articulate because personally I'm sitting here going like man, there are episodes that they've taken out of shows that I'm like mad that they've taken the episodes out of the shows, because it's like sometimes it's you guys miss the forest through the trees. Like this isn't even depicting that thing that you're saying it is, you know, but you remove this whole episode just so you don't have to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And like that bums me out and makes me annoyed. And at the same hand, if you could give me a cut of Dragon Ball where I could sit and watch it with my kids and not have like Master
Roshi perving on Bulma,
that would be great. If I could just watch a cut of that with my kids that doesn't have all that, so I don't have to stop and go like, okay, all right. So like Japan, like having to have these whole conversations.
Because they'll be like, well, and like our kids are pretty, like they will be like, hey, that's weird. What does that mean? They ask questions and they're like, and not to say that I didn't do that as a kid, but like it just, I don't know. It just like normalizes it in a way that's unnecessary, I think is my take. It's like, because
there's nothing, sit down if you have to while I say this, but there's nothing normal about a fucking grandpa age man sexually attracted to a 12-year-old girl. There is nothing normal there. I don't think
so.
And when it's just like a ha 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 joke and it's watched by kids that are learning about the world by way of media, which should they have better parents? Yes. But I was a kid who learned about the world by way of media. I would have watched that and been like, okay, that's a normal thing that occurs. And that's not normal. And again, this conversation is probably trying to catch up on chat. I'm trying. And I think it's probably a one that's getting heated. And I appreciate you all, and please be as kind to each other as possible. And we all have different experiences. We all have different lived stuff. And I want this to be a space where we can have conversations. And this is a very good conversation that we wouldn't be having at all if this article wasn't brought to us by Professor Pixelbits. And like, this is a very good and important conversation to have. So like, if we can make sure we're not like targeting people, and if we can try to remain kind. And I understand that sometimes these kind of conversations get hard to, and it's like, my ask to keep this place a good place is that when it gets like that, if we can walk away instead of type, that I think would be helpful. Because yeah, it's like I was someone who had a lot of bad takes on a lot of things. I still do. And it's always important to me to have spaces to like
talk about it
and hear from people that have lived different lives than I have. And that's an important thing. And there's not enough spaces left in the world where, and as long as we can continue to keep this place safe while also allowing for that, I would like to do both those things. I understand at some point that I don't want to turn into another place on the internet that's just like never talk about anything. It sucks. G said, I'm with Lena on this. Anime fucked me up. It let bad things happen to me. Professor says, no, I don't agree with that, but you're all stuck on that fine line versus what actually is. Anime is a huge media format that helps and supports the LGBTQ and gives lots of people in non-safe environments have an outlet to find and express themselves. This is why they're really are removing. I teach and I see a ton of LGBTQ kids who only safety from home is those mangas they read. Sexualization of minors is always wrong, and we already censor the hell out of that in media. That's why this whole thing is a silly law. I would say that there's a lot of anime though does contain stuff that I'm not comfortable with. But
I don't think that law is going to fix
that problem
so much as it's just going to nuke all of it. I think my take or stance or whatever you want to call it, it's like I just was kind of like misunderstanding what the point that was being made here was, but with more context. It's like I understand, and it's like I also did not read that article. It's
we got like a quarter away through it.
I'm going to read and look into it more, but like as it stands right now, like I don't think all anime needs to go away. Just think a lot of stuff needs to be put under a magnifying glass a little bit more.
And I'm sorry, Professor. I did try to warn you. I was like, this might not be the chat.
No. And it's like I've been having a lot of personal, again, with the nonsense happening in a literal Stardew Valley group, which is like supposed to be a fucking cozy farming game, turned into this huge, like, this guy is posting about how it should be fine that he's attracted to cartoon minors because they're cartoon minors. It's like I already had a whole can of worms about that opened up this week, and then so my feels are a little raw there, and it's like, again, I don't think that all anime needs to go away. I do think that like a magnifying glass should be placed over some things when looking at media like anime.
Yeah.
Because as much as like, yes, Western cultures do normalize that kind of stuff as well. This could be a weird take, but I do feel like anime does that more. You're more likely to find underage characters in anime than you are to find adult characters in anime. Most anime storylines are about, and it's like maybe that's just the popular ones, or maybe that's just like, I'm sure there's ones that depict adult characters doing adult things, but like I personally, the ones that I see circulating around the most are ones that are like the storyline is based around a bunch of teenagers or sometimes like middle schoolers, and like I just also I'm an adult and I no longer really relate to teenagers or middle schoolers, so that could also be why I'm just like I don't really get anime anymore. But all of that to say, like, I understand wanting to protect it and wanting to like acknowledge like, hey, this thing is like problematic because it's not nuking the thing that's actually a problem, it's nuking all of it. I also think that like this has been a problem for a really, really long time, and something needs to be done about it. I don't think that like this is the thing, but
I mean, something I do think there's a chance that like, and it feels like things are moving in that direction where I don't think walking through an anime con and seeing 1,000 body pillows with like canonically minor characters on them is going to be I'm hopeful that we're moving away from that, right?
Oh, hold on. Chat is going crazy. I just see it moving. I can't read it though.
Shiki says, yeah, this conversation needs to stop or redirect now. Any further comments on it will result in timeouts. Okay, thank you for coming in and modding, Shiki.
Am I gonna get a timeout if I talk about
No. That's not what that means.
What does that mean? No,
Okay, so Shiki is a mod.
Yeah.
So
I
like
know that.
anyone typing in the chat, she can time out. She can't give you a timeout, dear.
Okay.
Although that was the most adorable accidental redirect I've ever seen in my life, and I love you so much. And I can't wait to marry you and spend my life with you. You are such an incredible person.
I thought it was just a means to like be like, okay, now no one gets ice cream kind of thing. I didn't I didn't know when you can make someone when you can like it's called a timeout? I thought it was called a ban.
But, okay, so you can time out someone, which just means that they can't say anything for it's just like, hey, you gotta cool down.
Okay.
And then banning is like, hey, you're gone forever.
I thought that was just muting someone.
What?
Muting someone was like making it so that they can't type for a little bit.
That's timing out because like
Okay,
after
I
a
see
little
now.
while, they
I
can
understand.
type
I understand. I have context. Thank you.
again. What is up, Dread Pirate? Thank you. Hello. You came in at a weird time. Lindsay said, "Lena, go sit on the stairs for 10 minutes." And
I
think
don't
about your
have
actions."
stairs. Oh wait, I have basement stairs. I guess I'll go sit on those.
Professor Pixelpit says, "I apologize. Remove the issue." I want everyone to feel welcome here. Okay. I did not read that specific issue in chat. I'm under the impression that it got handled, but I love you all, and I want this to be a space that this felt like an important conversation, and we would not be having it all if it weren't for you. And it's like, I've been there in this chat where I have opinion that nobody else agrees with.
Yeah.
And that should be something that is okay. But like, we should be able to have those conversations in a way that we aren't like directing anger or hurt at individual people. If that makes sense. I'm probably, given that this is like the stuff is cropping up more and more as we get bigger, I'm probably going to have to hammer down the rules a little more and have a conversation with me, Selena, Vince, Shiki, Sam, to just kind of like iron out what the policy is here, because as we grow, this stuff is just bound to happen more and more. And I apologize because it's like I've not done my job of like setting ground rules, because it's like, if we're going to talk about things that people have like understandable emotions about, which is, there's a reason why most chats just go like, hey, these topics we're not talking about.
No, yeah. Understandable.
And I probably haven't done enough work to give you all groundwork rules to feel safe and be safe having these kinds of conversations. So I apologize for that. And yeah, I'm probably not going to read any specific things on that stuff either, but that's my fault. I've not ironed out guidelines, and I'm really...
I do think the statement, I thought this was an LGBTQ safe chat and wanted to bring up the harm that the ban is going to do to those people, is the only reason I brought it up. This is an LGBTQ safe chat. Because people reacted that way does not mean that we do not care about those issues. I think it's just, I personally misunderstood. I can't speak for anybody else in the chat. And that's on also that I'm going by what's being read to me, and like I have to like lean all the way over and be like, okay, that's the chat, and I will pull up a thing over here next time so that I can actually read the chat. But like, it did.
Yeah, I also thought I was articulating that standpoint fairly well whenever I got to it in the chat. The other problem is I was like miles behind in chat
going
and
to
doing
say
my
though,
best.
currently I do not feel good, so going to.
You're in
exit
timeout.
The vicinity. I hope everybody has a good day, and I hope that during future discourses and stuff that room can be made for.
Yeah, I will iron stuff out. And it's like, I don't think we need to be punitive towards anyone today right now, because unless that someone's me, because I did not set enough ground rules.
Yeah.
Shiki says this is an LGBTQ safe chat, but there's a difference between being unsafe and bringing up how things are actively affecting people. Yeah. Thank you, and I'm sorry, Shiki, that you had to come in, and it sounded and felt like you were starting to like dismount a little bit. Dismount. That's not the right cube off of being here just in hangout mode, let alone mod mode. You're starting to disengage, and you had to be brought back into heavy mod mode. So like, and yeah, it's like people have permission to mention their trauma and stuff here. I have been very permissive with that.
Right, that is completely fine. Everyone, like,
if we can all take a breath, and like, it's this stuff. It's hard. I haven't gotten a chance to talk about my shit a lot on this show yet. I haven't zero, but like, we all have lived experiences that when things tumble around them conversationally and subject wise, it's very easy for things to get like out of control real quick. And part of loving people is sometimes you disagree with them. Sometimes they grow and change. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to grow, and like, disagreements are going to happen. And all of us have found each other, and we're a bunch of people that like have like various amounts of like trauma and everything else. And if you guys would be patient with me, I would prefer to keep this a space where we're able to talk about those things. And like I said, I just need to start a conversation with people, but like, we all have lives and jobs and stuff too, so it's probably going to take us a second to like iron out what those guidelines and stuff actually are.
Yeah, but rest assured we will do that this week and figure out the best way to handle something like this moving forward.
Yeah,
we're all learning and growing
and changing, and yep, I mean, anyone can feel free to DM me. That none of that stuff directed at another person needs to come up in chat anymore. Please and thank you. And you can DM me over Discord or and anything else. But yeah, it's like we don't.
Things he said.
Let's all just have a big cuddle. I would love a big cuddle. Also, goddamn, my tooth hurts. Like, dear Lord.
I'm sorry. Let's.
I need to stop talking into a microphone, or I'm gonna have to cancel my Final Fantasy stream later, and then I will be very sad. So we need to wrap this up.
Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out today, and we will be back tomorrow.
Yep, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back later today doing the Final Fantasy stream from like 3 to 6. I'll be around for that. We have YouTube, which I'm putting a lot of work into. Please go check that out. I've been editing down Selena's all of her playthroughs and stuff, and then my video essays, and we just got 50 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that. You
Yay.
guys are wonderful.
Clap, clap, clap.
And we have
I must
whatnot.
pee, so I'm gonna
Selena's
peace
gonna
out
pee.
early. Goodbye.
Click
Love
that,
you
and you can
all.
get links to things.
Have a good day.
Shiki says, hell yeah, 50. I'm not going to raid today because I love you all, but we're not going to bring this mess into somebody else's yard. And again, let me apologize and say this is my mess. This is not the responsibility of anyone but me. I need to set up better guidelines. Because when I'm talking, I can't read everything in chat. And it shouldn't be on Shiki, Sam, Vince, any of these wonderful, beautiful humans that hang out here and are also looking for this to be a space where they get to just hang out in, to like have to police either. And so I apologize especially to them on this, that I've not set up better stuff. But I love you all. And y'all are great. Be honest, be kind, be useful, live a good fucking life. I will see you all at 3:00. And yeah, playing some Final Fantasy. We're almost done with Final Fantasy 2. We're getting there. But